Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 25th to the 31st of March 2024. So we're in between the eclipses and everything's quite quiet this week. There's no real major movements or meetings, so we've got time to reflect on anything that's happening, as well as tune into some of the deeper, bigger movements that are going on in the background. So the full moon eclipse in Libra, 5 degrees, early on Monday morning, was very much about releasing and letting go, making room, rebalancing, recalibrating. And we may have had a heads up on the 22nd when Venus, ruler of Libra, met with Saturn to see what we wanted to lock into our hearts, really, to find our authentic desires, to find what we stand on and for, what we really care about, what's fundamental to us. So the moon comes along. It's quite an anxious one, quite an emotional one, as we are letting go on a cellular level of programming and conditioning and things that we've picked up from all around. And then the coming eclipse in Aries, that's 19 degrees Aries, is going to bring in some new direction, some new passion, some new excitement into the space that we've cleared. So having the philosophy and the wisdom to let go of things that no longer felt right, and then having the foresight to see that the space created will be filled up with things that we are truly aligned with and excited about. So that's where we are at the moment. But a couple of background things worth exploring. We're heading towards the next Mercury retrograde in Aries. So on the 11th of March, Mercury went into Aries. On the 19th of March, it passed the retrograde point of 15 degrees. And on the 2nd of April, it will turn retrograde at 27 degrees. So that's your window there. It's going back from 27 to 15. If we can find where that is in our chart, firstly by house, and then any connections with natal planets, then we can start to feel and notice what's coming up for us. So 19 March to the 2nd of April is the awareness stage. Keep your eyes open, your ears even more open. Focus on that area of your life, if you are able to find that in your chart, and I can help you with that if not. But coming in just before the next eclipse, everything's turning very Aries, and the general theme of Aries is young, raring to go, independent, impetuous. It's the will, it's creativity and energy and dynamism. So we could look at where we place our will. Are we trying too hard to push things forwards? Are we coming from the right place? Are we doing things at the right time? And is your will aligned with your heart, and on a deeper level still with your soul plan? So having had a fair few weeks of Pisces, a chance to feel into our deep wisdom, our soulful self, still have Saturn, Venus and Neptune in Pisces, but we're going to start to feel the desire to act, and how well that will go will depend on where those actions are motivated from. Mars is also in Pisces, and this is a good counterbalance to all the Aries energy. So if you haven't found your desire yet, your motivation, what really guides you in an upwards direction, then tuning into Mars in Pisces may help. The light inside every cell, the inner guidance system, the North Star on your soul path. And then we'll head towards Mercury retrograde on the 2nd, and we'll be able to see where our will is working for us or against us, whether we're being too willful, too masculine, driving too hard, or ego-driven, doing things from the lower will and lower motivations. So Mercury retrograde, always a blessing, the chance to observe ourselves, make necessary changes and be better off. Always perfect timing. See if you can find any of those themes that are already being shown to you. Often can happen in the outside world, connections with other people, feedback, or even blocks. Aries can get very agitated if they don't have a clear road ahead. They want to just charge on, and yet sometimes blocks come to make us reassess our goals and whether we're heading in the right direction. So quite a heady one, could be some anger flare-ups, but with the ruler of Aries, Mars, in Pisces, very gentle, very spiritual. You can take everything inwards and reflect deeply, get to know your soul self, and that's the perfect antidote to the temper tantrum ego self when it's not getting its own way. So really the theme of this week, who are you really? What do you really desire? Check back in with your goals. Check back in with your inner knowing. Not time to push forwards just yet, but the awareness of whatever's coming up with Mercury retrograde in Aries, ability to change our thoughts, change our mind, change our plans, and staying sentient with a lot of positive energy still in Pisces. So those are the two areas to look in your chart really this week, Pisces and Aries, as the house system shows us more precisely where we can tune in and harness the energies or release what's no longer ours. And this is very easy to learn. I have course modules, I go through them with you one-to-one, customised sessions. So whether you'd like a chart reading or some astrology study or any coaching to bring up and let go of something that you've been holding on to too long, to free that space, to feel lighter and brighter, ready for the fresh energy that's coming in, then I am available, zoehines7@gmail.com. Post these videos on my YouTube channel, Zoe Astro, Instagram, zoehines7, and Facebook, AstroZoe. So I can sense some confusion still, some agitation still. That would be the Pisces and Aries. Flip side, we don't really know where we're heading. Things don't really seem to be moving at all. I want to drive forwards, take control of the reins and make things happen. And yet it's actually the opposite that will be beneficial this week. To take a look at who the driver is and whether the destination will be worth it in the long run. So looking at what really matters to us, feeling our heart's desire, letting go of plans and action and control for a little while longer until the coming eclipse, which is in the middle of a Mercury retrograde and actually very close to Chiron. So the child wound could be coming up in this eclipse as well. Chiron will be at 19 degrees Aries with the Sun and the Moon, and Aries is the child of the zodiac. So have a look at childishness, tantrums, victimhood and childhood wounds as well to see if any of that is going to be brought up in this double whammy of an eclipse and a retrograde. So lots to focus on there, no real action required outwardly, but we really are cleaning up our inner environment and learning some valuable lessons on how we create and manifest and live our unique lives with authenticity, integrity and joy. So wishing you a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.